All right, welcome everybody to our Down and Dirty at 1:30 Central Time. This is Vishan Borich from Team Tough, and we're glad to have you here. I know for many of you this is the start of our holiday week, and the next couple of weeks will be holiday season, so many people have off from work or are feverishly preparing to be off from work so that you can spend time with those you love and care about. So this one will probably be pretty quick, but I want to give you some golden nuggets today. As always, that's my goal, is to provide you with extreme value so that you can have a better life and also build an amazing business and grow your business if you already have one. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So today we are going to be talking about 7 mental shifts to double your income in 2016. I hope that you're ready, because I think that this is something that a lot of people have been wondering, what does it take to really double my income? How can you, as a viewer of this, change your life status so drastically so that in the next year you double your income or more than what you currently have been doing? So we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to share with you something that my own personal $1 million earner mentor shared with me a while ago, and it really stuck with me, and it has allowed me to do some amazing things in the past year, and even double my own income with some of the things that I've implemented. So I hope you're ready. I hope you're getting excited, because we're going to go right now. So let me flip things around so that you can see my screen. All right, here we go. 7 mental shifts to double your income in 2016. And this really will work for any year, not just 2016. So if you're watching this later on, this is some good tips. So here's the first one. This is kind of astounding to me, and I stumbled across this in Entrepreneur Magazine. Are you a member of the 99%? Well, here's how you'll know. If you're currently earning less than $393,941 a year, if you're earning less than that as your family's income per year, you are a member of the 99%, because the 1% of the richest people in the world, the wealthiest people in the world, are earning more than that. So it's kind of it shakes you up when you realize that it really doesn't take that much to be wealthy. Now, for some of you, this may be a really large number. And for others, you may have a situation where you've earned that amount, or you currently are earning that amount. So congratulations for you guys, because that means that you are or have been a member of the 1%, and maybe you didn't even realize it. But I want to pose something to you right now, and that is, what does it really take to double your income? Is it hard work? Well, it's not. It's not hard work, because when you think about it, even though the wealthiest people in the world do work very hard, they tend to really love their work. They tend to put everything into it. The type of work that they do is not normally labor intensive, labor in the fact that physical labor. Most of the wealthiest people in the world, the way that they've earned their income is by what I call a seated job, a business in which they really sit down and they use their brain to do the heavy lifting, not their bodies. So, if you are a physical laborer, or you have a business that's very demanding on you physically, the odds are you are not going to become one of the wealthiest people in the 1%. I know that may be a shock to you, but I don't care how good your idea is. If you're the one that's actually physically doing the work, the heavy lifting, then you're not going to. You can only work so many hours, right, before your body breaks down, before you have health issues. So what the wealthiest people do is they do something different. They do something called the mental side. So it's using their mindset. They have the proper mental attitude in order to accomplish things and delegate to those that perhaps they can pay less money to, so that they can earn more in their life. And I know that sometimes people get upset with this, because it does have to do with the idea of the very wealthy hiring people for much, much less. And the truth is that this is how capitalism works, is that, you have those at the very top who make a lot of money, and they use their mind to hire people at a much lower rate to get jobs done that they themselves don't want to do. So you can be a caring capitalist. You don't have to be the kind that pays people much less than what they're worth. But I can tell you that if you want to be in the 1%, or you have a desire to even be close to the 1% in your annual income, then you have to start using your mind in a way in which you don't spend time on those things that are not going to help you in your life and are going to take away from your quality of life. And that's really what it comes down to, is using your mind in a positive way and using your best skill sets in order to accomplish the things that are going to move the dial and grow your business and grow your life. Okay, so let's get into it now. So there are 7 mental shifts that I've actually been through, and I continue to go through, that have helped me to double my income and can help you too for 2016. So if you're watching this today, I hope you, at this point, you've got a notebook out, you're taking some notes, because one thing I learned as well from my own mentors is that when you write something down with a pen and paper, you retain 80% of that. If you just listen, you're only going to retain about 20% of it. So if you really want to retain what I'm sharing with you today, or anybody, anytime you listen to something, then I challenge you to write it down longhand, not typing it. There's been proof in some studies that if you type notes up, you don't retain it as much. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the physical motion is not the same as if you wrote it yourself. So take good notes in anything you do. And then I'll give you one more tip before we get into these 7 mental shifts. And that is, anytime that you are learning something new, get into the mindset that you will have to teach somebody else what you just learned. So if you get in the mindset of you're being taught how to be the teacher, you tend to retain more of that information, because you look at it from a perspective of, okay, I got to teach this to somebody else, so I got to know how to do it. And it just adds to your ability to be able to retain the information. So if you're listening to me today, if you want to test this theory, then I challenge you to take good notes longhand on a pad of paper with a nice pen. I call it a juicy pen, a pen that doesn't run out of ink, the kind that are, I like the gel pens, because it just lets your thoughts flow. Okay, and then also take those notes from the perspective of, you're going to teach this to somebody else so that they can have the best 2016 of their life as well. All right, so before I go to the very first one, because there's 7 of them, I want to share just a little bit about my background for those of you that don't know me. My background, basically, I was in corporate America for 16 years or so, and I kind of worked my way up the ladder as a graphic designer, and then eventually becoming a corporate executive on the internet marketing side in the publishing industry. So I spent a lot of time, in that world, in the corporate world. I was very good at what I did. That's how come I worked my way up. But I found out that there's no loyalty in the corporate world, and you are only as good as the money is. In other words, if you're a publicly traded company, when the stock market takes a crash, they usually cut from the top. Yeah, did you hear that? If those of you that are working a corporate job, usually they cut from the top. So if you rise to the top of the ladder expecting to be a CEO or something like that, most of the time, if the market goes south, those people are the first to go. And so I realized very quickly, because I was one of those casualties, that it doesn't matter how skilled you are and how loyal you are to your employer. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees in life that you're going to continue on that forward trajectory if you're working for someone else. And so after that happened, I decided that I was going to be my own business owner. I was going to be in control of my destiny. I didn't know in what, I didn't know how, but thankfully I stumbled across a mentor in the online industry who I just resonated with. I liked what they were doing online. I liked the products and services that they had, and it seemed like a great fit for me in my own personal passions and skills. And so I dove in. That was 2 years ago. I dove in, and now actually it's been over 2 years. And now I am my own business owner. I have a team of people. I do personal and business coaching. I've grown a business. I also own a martial arts studio and dojo, which is another one of my passions. And my online business and coaching has allowed me to grow that business and to do things that otherwise I wouldn't be able to do, like spend time with my kids, take lots of vacations, go places, and just be a part of the people that I love, be more a part of their lives. So I'm not saying this is all rainbows and unicorns. There is obviously some struggles that goes along with having your own business. You are your own boss, right? So you have to be the best employee because your own boss has the most criticism because it's you. So you have to do what I call taking a mental shift in order to be a success in your life. And I went through some major mental shifts, and that's what prompted me to do this, because if you are like I was 2 years ago, I was in a pretty bad spot. I didn't know what I was going to do next. And it's very depressing when you don't know where you fit and you've lost your identity, or maybe you just hate your job and you just feel miserable. It's time to make that change. It's time to have that mental shift. And I hope that today's Down and Dirty at 1:30 takes you there. Okay? So before I go in and tell you the first one, what I'd like you to do is go ahead, log in down below. You'll see there's a chat window here on this live hangout, and let me know that you're watching this. Say hello. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, criticisms, whatever you have, go ahead, post it down below. I'll be happy to look at those as soon as I'm done, and I do answer them. So I look forward to seeing what you type in there. All right, so number one, stop making excuses. All right, you've probably heard this before. I want to go into a little bit of detail. Sometimes I get people that are my students who basically either they're really young or maybe they're older and they're in their second career, third career, fourth career, whatever, and they use their age as an excuse. I'm just giving you one example. So sometimes if it's a younger person, they might say, well, I really don't have enough experience to be successful in what I want to do with my life. So I don't think that I'm ready to start my own business. I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and work for somebody else instead of having my own business. So, that's one excuse. The other one is they might say, I'm too old. I don't understand this technology stuff. You younger people understand that much easier because you've grown up with it. So I just don't feel like I'm cut out with that. So the moment, and this is important, write this down, okay? The moment you begin to give yourself an excuse for not being successful is the moment you fail, okay? So stop making those excuses, because you are more valuable than your excuses. So, don't do it anymore. If you truly believe that you can make it, then you will make it. Doesn't matter what business it's in. If you truly believe you will, you will. And the other thing that I want to bring up when it comes to excuses, a lot of times we use the excuse, well, I don't have enough income. I don't have enough money right now, so it takes money to make money. Have you heard that? Well, I'll tell you what, if you really are dedicated to something, if you have a passion for something or a gift or something that just excites you so much, you wish you could do it every day, then what does the money mean to you? If you don't have the money, you can always find it. And by finding it, I mean being creative with your brain, thinking about, what services could you do right now that could bring in money for you? Are there people that you could go and reach out to who would be willing to loan you money or support you financially for a time being until you get your business off the ground? So, stop saying, I don't have this. or I'm not smart enough, or I don't think I can do it, or I don't know where I can do this or where I can get the resources. Instead, I want you to start asking the question, how can I? How can I? When you start asking yourself that question, you instantly put your brain into creative mode. And it allows you to start focusing on solutions instead of excuses. So focus on solutions instead of excuses, if I can say it. And what will happen is you'll start seeing a turnaround almost immediately in opportunities that come your way. And one last thing before I go to the next one, and that is, don't say, I'll try. There's two words that really bother me. One is I can't, because I can't just tells me you've shut down and you're not interested in changing anything about your life. It's almost like a bad word to me. And if you are one of my students, you know this, because I get really, I get kind of my tough mama comes out anytime I hear the word can't. The other word is try, because it's kind of like the Yoda. I know Star Wars is really in right now because the new one just came out. Yoda, what does he say? What's the famous quote from Yoda? It's do or do not, there is no try, right? And that's the same thing with the word I try. Say you're going to do it, okay? And don't look back. Just do it. Now, obviously, we don't always achieve what we set out to do. We miss our goals, right? When that happens, it doesn't mean that you failed, because you went towards it and you're going to keep going towards your goals, or maybe your path changed a little bit along the way. But what it does mean is that you're committed. When you say, I'll try, that means you're not committed at all. And basically it means that you're not going to, you are expecting it to fail. I'll try. Most people who say that say, well, I'll try, and if it doesn't work after so many weeks, and I knew it was a fake thing anyway, so I'm not going to do it. Stop that. Stop making excuses. Stop saying you'll try. Just do it and commit, and realize that if you don't stop, you will eventually succeed. All right, let's go to the next one. So make that shift. The second one, reinvest in yourself. So this is the safest investment I've ever made, is in my future. Okay. And here's how you reinvest in yourself. One way you can do it that doesn't cost hardly anything, especially if you have a library nearby, is to read at least 30 minutes a day. When you do that, you instantly are transforming your thoughts in a more positive way. And don't just read anything. Try to read self-improvement, mindset related books, it's self-development. Go to your library or go to your bookstore, or even go online on Amazon or other booksellers, and find books that help you make that mental shift into growing your life and your business. Okay, so that's one way you can reinvest. Another way is to listen to audios, positive audios. These are, voice obviously is what I'm saying. Some people don't retain as much when they read written words. A lot of people are more audio oriented. And personally, I have found, even though I do like to read written word, I have found that I like the audio version of books better, because I can listen to them while I'm doing other things, such as driving to go, run errands, or when I'm picking my kids up. I have two little boys that are in school. So, or when I'm doing laundry around the house or whatever, I can listen to those books and also listen to the audios that my own company provides, so that I can improve my life and make myself better. So my company does provide them. If you're interested in learning more about what we call our inner circle audios, get with the person that invited you to this hangout. Maybe it's me, maybe it's somebody else on my team, and ask them to hook you up with the inner circle audios. It's a great bunch of audio files that you can listen to on your phone or on your computer, and it really has changed my life. The other thing that you can do to reinvest in yourself is to listen to your mentors vigorously. So by vigorously, you really need to first find mentors. Find a mentor that's already successfully doing what you want to do in your life. And once you find them, then you may have to pay for coaching from them. You may have to go to their events. Whatever it is, just to get around them is going to completely change your mindset, and it's going to help you by giving you the education you need to be successful in whatever field that you wish to go into. So you don't just need to be a master in your field. You need to be an expert at learning new things all the time. Okay, because the world is shifting at rapid paces. So if you mastered one thing, you need to move on and start mastering other things. So master many subjects, be it your finances, be it the business intricacies of how it works. Consume knowledge like oxygen. All right, that's really the key, is to just become somebody who loves to learn. And I also believe that you need to splurge a little bit on yourself and your business by doing little things like taking memorable experiences. Maybe traveling, maybe going someplace because you can. Whatever it is that will enhance your lifestyle. Because by doing those excursions and getting away from your routine, what that does is it gives you a new perspective that you can bring back into your life and into your business. Okay, and that's really a productivity hack that I do, because I've noticed that sometimes I get kind of stagnant in my business where I don't really feel like I'm moving the dial. I'm just maintaining. So what I'll do in those instances is I'll get away. I'll close up my laptop and I will get away, and I'll go do something with the family, or I'll go for a hike, or I'll go for a drive somewhere I've never been, or I'll go to an event, just to re-immerse myself in something new and get those creative juices flowing again. All right, let's go to the next one. Avoid decision fatigue. All right, this is one that really slows down your productivity. And I spoke a little bit last week on productivity and how you can improve that. If you missed that episode, send me a message and I will get you a replay, because I take the replays down every Monday, because I do a different one of these down and dirties every single Monday. So make sure you message me. If you're on my team, you have access to all of my past down and dirties, and there are 2 years worth now. So just message me and I'll get you a link so that you can see all those. So decision fatigue is you only have so much attention span throughout the day. And I'll give you a hint. As the day dwindles into the afternoon, your ability to make decisions dwindles as well. And it can be a bottleneck to your productivity. So what I recommend to anyone out there, especially if you're a business owner, is try to make your biggest decisions in the morning. If it's in the afternoon that you hear about something that you need to make a decision on, wait until the morning to make that decision, simply because you are not at your most attentive in the afternoon or evening. Okay, I don't care who you are. You want to do that in the morning. The other thing is you need to start conserving your mental power by making decisions as quickly as you can in the morning. Stop waiting to make a decision. This is something that I learned at a fairly young age, actually. And my mother is really big on making quick decisions. And it always used to bother me as a child, because like we'd go out to eat, for example, and you literally had less than 3 minutes to decide what you were going to eat off the menu, or she was already going to order, and you weren't going to get food. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but she taught me a valuable thing, and that is you need to learn how to make decisions quickly. And later on, I learned from some other mentors that the wealthiest people make decisions quickly and change their minds slowly, whereas the poorest people make decisions slowly and change their mind quickly. Okay, so if you got that, the wealthy make decisions quickly, change their mind slowly, and the poor make decisions slowly, change their minds quickly. And in doing that, what's happening, if you're one of those that takes a while to make a decision, then you're, number one, you're wasting time. You're burning your decision fatigue, because it's hard to make decisions if you just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Just make a decision as quickly as possible. That way you can worry about bigger things, bigger decisions, and put your mind power, your mental power to that. So for instance, try to organize your day so that you don't have to make so many decisions. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about what you're going to wear in the morning, okay? Have something laid out maybe the night before. That way you're just ready. You don't have to go in and think about what you're going to wear. Or have a plan on what you're going to eat for breakfast the next day. Already have everything ready to go, so in the morning you can just grab it and, you know, warm it up or whatever you got to do, and you're ready to go, instead of having to make all these different decisions. It's just too much. Your brain can't handle all those decisions. So try to eliminate as many as you can, and you'll find that that one mental shift frees up space in your mind to make bigger decisions and to take action much more quickly when opportunities arise. All right, let's go to the next one. Build a resilient mind. So a resilient mind is one in which you can handle things that come your way. You can handle challenges that come your way. Sorry, I had some other notes here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any of my notes. Lots of notes on this. So your resilient mind, let's put it this way. We all fail at something every day. There's something that we don't do right. There's something that, you know, maybe we didn't accomplish that we wanted to. Okay, what you need to work on is not dwelling on your failures, but rather trying to be better than you were yesterday. And this kind of bounces off what we talked about last week as well. And that's, you know, stop focusing on what you don't have and be grateful for what you do have. It's that attitude of gratitude that helps you to stay focused and clear on the direction you're going. Because there's always going to be those that criticize you. There's always going to be things that don't go quite as planned. There's going to be tragedies. There's going to be struggles. There's going to be things that happen in your life that you are unexpected. And when those things happen, you can either choose to dwell and wallow in the pain, or you can choose to, as quickly as you can, find the blessing out of the tragedy or out of the challenge. And once you can go from, oh no, to, wow, that's a blessing, the sooner you can do that, the quicker you can move on and start building your life in a positive way. Because your life is not meant to be one of pain and suffering. It's meant to be one of joy and vibrancy. Now, that doesn't mean that we all don't go through some really painful things. I mean, if I shared with you some of the painful stuff I went to before I got to this point, you probably would want to take yours back and not have mine. Okay? But I tell you what, I learned to look at it from a perspective of resilience, in that I knew no matter what happened to me, I was going to succeed in one way or another, and that everything was going to work as planned no matter what. And once you take on that attitude, things just start happening. And you can't explain it, you don't know why, but it just starts happening because suddenly you see the good things around you rather than the bad. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. Number 5, think big. Be big. All right, so what does that mean? What does it mean to think big and be big? Well, number one, you know, this has to do with goal setting, really. You know, the ability for you to set goals, to set targets and benchmarks is remarkable in that it accelerates your success. Even if you never look at your goal sheet, if you just wrote down your goals today, folded it up and put it in a drawer somewhere, just the fact that you wrote them down will help you achieve them. I don't know how it works, but I've known many people who have written down their goals and not looked at it on a regular basis, but later on in life stumbled across this list of goals that they had, and they achieved them unbeknownst to them, right? So I don't recommend that. I mean, obviously you're going to have more success if you stay focused on the goal, but I can tell you that it really works. Leaders and those that make a lot of money and have amazing lives, they all have goals and they write them down. And I recommend in this day and time that you don't make your goals. I mean, you can have a vision for the future that's like 5, 10, 15 years out, but your goals should be within a 90-day plan. And I spoke on this on another hangout as well. You know, things move at such a rapid pace that if you set a year-long goal, then, you know, the things are going to change so much within that year that it's a possibility that that goal that you set, it become obsolete. In other words, it's not even valid anymore because the technology has changed. So set 90-day goals, write them down, and go for it. And here's the thing. If your goal is not, you'll know your goal is not big enough if it seems too far-fetched. I mean, like, you want your goal to seem kind of far-fetched because that way you'll strive to hit it. If your goal, it looks super easy to achieve, then your goal's not big enough. Think bigger. Think huge. Think, what would it be like if this happened in your life? And write that down and make that a goal that you have. You know, and you'd be surprised. The things that you think are the least likely to happen, that you would love to happen, they might just happen. Okay, so think bigger. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 6, be methodical. Have you heard what I've said before? And you've probably heard this from others as well. Plan your work and work your plan. So this is really one of my biggest breakthroughs, was creating a large-scale marketing campaign for my business. And once I started doing that, I started seeing a huge increase in the number of clients and customers and students that I got, and I started seeing a big shift in my income as well. So think about processes that can improve the amount of work that you can do without you having to do it yourself. You know, that's really the key for the wealthiest 1%, is they are very good about coming up with systems rather than doing everything themselves. They look for a system. So at this point, I wanted to share a story that I shared with some of my students not too long ago. And it's an ancient story. It's kind of a fable from Egypt. And I won't be too long, but I think that this will really help you get the point of being methodical. So here's the story. There were 2 brothers, twin brothers, that were Egyptian princes. And these I don't want to say princess, but princes, their father had a great amount of wealth. And he had the unfortunate thing that he could only choose one of his sons to be the ruling king. And he realized that he couldn't just pick one or the other because they were twins, and it wasn't based on age. So what he decided to do was he gave them a challenge, and he told each of them that they had 4 years to build a pyramid in his honor. And with that, he gave them a set amount of income and resources and said, you know, here is your income. He equaled it out to both brothers. And he said, what I'd like you to do is build, and he gave them the specs for this pyramid, and I want you to build a pyramid in honor of me. He says the first one that gets their pyramid completed and meets the specs that I have here will receive the kingdom and all of my inheritance. And so, of course, the brothers, they were excited about this potential. They took, you know, all the resources and the log as to how to build their pyramids. Well, the first brother, he immediately set out to map out the ground as to where the pyramid would be built. So he went out and he drew all of the lines to make sure it was in the right spot, positioned it accordingly to the sun, and now he knew how to start. And then the next day, he started hiring men and animals and things like that in order to start moving these massive blocks into place for his pyramid. And if you've ever been to Egypt and had the opportunity to see the pyramids, they are incredible, and the blocks that are there are massive, and you wonder how on earth they move them. Anyhow, so brother one began right away building. Well, brother two, he also mapped out on the ground in his area as to where, you know, the pyramid would be built. And then he didn't hire anybody. He just went into his tent, and brother one didn't see him for a while. Meanwhile, brother one is building this pyramid, and he already has the first layer built. Okay, it took him several months, but he got the first layer built, and now he's ready to go on to the second layer, and he starts building that. Well, he looks over to see what his second brother is doing, and he noticed that there's nothing being built, and in fact, he hasn't even seen his brother. And so he marches over to his brother's tent, and he says, "What is going on?" He says, "I thought you wanted the inheritance. You haven't even started building, and I'm already on the second layer." Brother two said, "Oh, I'll don't worry." He says, "I'm just working out my plan as to how I'm going to build this." And brother one shakes his head, and he goes back to work with all of the men. Well, they get the second layer done for brother one, and they start to go on the third layer. Well, now it's much more difficult because those blocks have to be carried up, you know, 2 levels in order to get to the third layer. And many of his men go on strike, and he has to pay certain ones more, and he's running out of resources, and he knows there's 5 layers of this temple. And, you know, at the end of year 1, he still hasn't really got, you know, level 3 started because of all of the issues he's having with resources and his employees. Well, he looks over at brother two. Brother two still hasn't built anything. But he goes over there and he sees his brother has worked out on tablets some kind of a design for something that he can't figure out what it is. So brother one goes back and he continues building. He has to borrow extra resources in order to get more men to help lift the heavy blocks into place. And it's about this time, now they're in the year 2, in which brother 2 starts building something. But it's not with bricks. He's building some wooden structure with gears and pulleys and cords, and lots of people come and watch. And there's only a few men that are helping him to build this. And, you know, within a couple months, they have this machine built that looks fascinating. And brother one doesn't know what he's doing. He just shrugs, because by this time he's got level 3 done, and it's time to do level 4 of his pyramid. Well, brother two now has his contraption built. And with several men, they push this wheeled contraption into place over near where his pyramid is to be built. The next day, brother two has a group of men come, and they start bringing in the bricks and stacking them next to the contraption. And so they get all these bricks there, and by week 2, brother two starts using this contraption to pick up the bricks one by one like a crane and positioning them into place. 3 weeks later, he has all of the bricks into place for level 1, and he's already starting on level 2. And a few weeks later, level 2 is done with his contraption. And a few weeks later, level 3 is done. And brother one, meanwhile, is just now starting on level 4. And he's having a heck of a time because the men, it's such heavy work, and people they just don't have the strength to lift these bricks up these flights of stairs in order to get them into place. Well, brother two is now finished with the 3rd layer, and he quickly, using this contraption, gets the 4th layer into place. And as that gets into place, he uses his contraption to put the very final brick into place for the 5th layer, and his pyramid is complete. Meanwhile, brother 1 never did complete level 4, let alone level 5, because he ran out of money, he ran out of resources, he ran out of everything he needed to grow his temple. And his father, the father of the 2 boys, came and he asked brother 1 what happened, and he explained all the tragedies and challenges that he went through. And then he asked brother 2, what is it that allowed you to build your temple so quickly with such a late start? And brother 2 said, well, I understood that if I was going to build this temple, I needed to plan out all of the different ways that I could build it without many resources, because he could foresee that there was going to be lots of challenges along the way. And so what he decided to do was to focus on building a system to help him build his temple, his pyramid, much more quickly. And he used systems and his mental shift in how he accomplished a task as monumental as building a pyramid. He used those things in order to build it rapidly, efficiently, and with very few resources. And I've always loved that story because it really illustrates how to be methodical. It may appear that you're not doing anything in the beginning, but what you're doing is you're preparing your mind, you're preparing your life, you're preparing your business, and you're preparing your processes in order to create the life that you want. So follow a logical order and craft your business so that you can be successful. Don't listen to everybody else. Listen to your mentor. Listen to those who have gone before you and have done well. But don't listen to other people who have not been a success in what you're looking to be a success in. And you can really take a similar approach to an analytical position, a creative position, administrative system, to improve your efficiencies when you're faced with repetitive tasks, so that you can have more time freed up for you to focus on what's really important. All right, so the very last one, this is number 7. Number 7 is believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, no one else, because if it's not you, then who's going to believe in you? Someone has to make it, and nothing is stopping you from being the person you've always wanted to be. So, nearly every person who has ever failed had an excuse. So stop thinking that you might fail. Instead, believe, what will happen if you succeed? So, successful people, they all have stories of challenges they had to overcome and major issues that they had to accomplish, but they don't look at them as the end all to their business. They look at them as an obstacle, a temporary obstacle that they needed to creatively find a solution to get around. I want to give you an example. Some of you probably have heard of Thomas Edison. He is attributed with being the inventor of modern electricity, and specifically the light bulb. Well, there's a story that I read years ago about his shop, his workshop. When he was trying to invent the light bulb, the biggest challenge was figuring out the wick, or the little part in the light bulb that wouldn't burn up or burn out. And what could he use that would last for a long period of time and could withstand the type of heat and friction that goes along with electricity flowing through it. And so he and his employees, they went through hundreds and thousands, in fact, of different tests trying to discover the light bulb. And they had all this work and research on different things that they'd used in order to create a light bulb that would last and not burn up. Well, it was during towards the end of developing the light bulb that there was a horrendous fire in his workshop, and his entire workshop and all of his life's work, all of his notes, all of his documentation completely burned up. His whole shop burned to the ground. And everybody came from miles away to watch the fire. It burned all through the night, and the firemen couldn't put it out. And his wife, was just crying. She was beside herself. She couldn't believe, that all of this work was lost. But Thomas Edison, was sitting on the ground by a tree watching the fire, and he was laughing. And he was just in laughter. And one of his most esteemed employees came up and said, "Mr. Edison, are you okay? I mean, has this drove you mad just to see that all of your life's work is gone? Are you okay?" And he stopped laughing for just enough to tell his employee, "No." He says, "I am perfectly fine." The employee said, "Well, aren't you concerned that you've lost all your life work? Aren't you concerned?" He says, "No, I'm not, because all that's left are all the things that didn't create the light bulb." And he was already forward thinking then. Mr. Edison realized that he had not invented the light bulb yet. And it didn't matter if all the stuff from the past got burnt up. He already knew what didn't work. So he was already counting the blessing, because now he could rebuild a better shop so that he could, in fact, create the light bulb. And thankfully, he never quit. Many people would have quit if that would have happened to them. But he didn't. And shortly after rebuilding, he did discover exactly what to use to create a long-lasting light bulb. And he is considered, the modern, the wonder inventor of creating the light bulb. So I thought that was a good story as well. I know I've been full of stories today, but these are the things that help. Those storytelling, you will never forget some of these stories. And that's what you should think about when you believe in yourself, that you are living out your story. Someone has to live it out. It might as well be you. And, if you're not sure how to begin on your story of greatness, start with a promise to work towards achievement. If you do that every day, to work towards achieving something better than you were yesterday, you're going to start to succeed. And you will, in fact, double your income if you do this. So think of belief as the major building block in your mentality of success. And you are building your life. You're not just doing this for the fun of it or for the money. When you believe in yourself, you believe in the life that you're creating. So I really want you to excel, and I'm going to flip this back around. Now I've been talking for a while. All right. So I really want you to succeed. I desire that for you. I desire to see you make the next year the best year for the next 12 months. So I know that we only have a few more weeks here until the end of the year. Now's the time to start planning your story, planning your next 90 days. It's not, the secret to success is not the technical stuff. It's not what you do. It's not what you know. It's that you never quit. If you have a mentality that you're going to never quit, you believe in yourself and what you're achieving and what you seek to achieve, you are going to achieve something amazing in this next year. And I can't wait to hear about it. So as you achieve new things, I would love it if you would share it with me, because there's nothing greater to me than knowing that in some way my words maybe influenced you in just a small way so that you could lead the next part of your life even better than it was today. All right, so with that, I'm going to let you go, and we will meet next Monday. In the meantime, have a very happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy your time with your family, and we'll see you next week on our Down and Dirty at 1:30 Central. Take care.